Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the BFNL Netball Show, coming to you once again. A little bit of a different locale this week, but fantastic to be on your screen once again. Joining me, Sean Kelly, of course, you know me. Joining me once again, as he does every week, Matthew Wiltshire. Matty, welcome, mate.
Great to be back for another week of an exciting netball show, mate.
It was some fantastic netball action last weekend as well across the BFNL.
Yeah, no, some great results. Obviously, some close ones there, especially with the Melton Derby down there. It was a 3-point
Derby,
game,
depending on which school you went to.
Derby.
You went to high school, Derby will be fine for you.
So, and then other games, obviously, some a bit one-sided and a few that I expected to be a little bit closer, but there was a few strong performances along the weekend.
There was indeed. Let's have a look at some of those performances. We'll start with the Darley-Ballarat game. Darley winning 42-19. Burke 18 goals, Rawnsley 16 and Deutsche 8 for Darley. Van Rossum, Wirtz and Wiltshire the goal scorers for Ballarat. Better players for Darley, Rosado, Geary and Barry, and for Ballarat, Matheson, Eustace and Bowman. Good win by Darley, but a little bit of credit to Ballarat as well. Third quarter, 7 goals each, so they've drawn even in a quarter. So it's a good start for Ballarat. They're starting to get that confidence up. It's good to see different players again in the best players. Jamie Matheson in there. Eustace coming up from the 19 and unders as well. Some really good signs for Ballarat, but take nothing away from Darley, who got a much-needed victory that keeps them in touch with the top 6.
Yeah, Darley now sitting 8th on the ladder, I think it is. So their second win for the season and a very strong performance there over Ballarat. Yeah, Ballarat, they're obviously a very young side, but it's good to see they're starting to stick it even if it's just for a quarter. It does give them a bit of confidence going forward, and good to see my little sister Abby got her first A-grade goals there. She's usually playing in the defense. I
was going to say, she's goalkeeper. How the hell did she end up getting goals?
I think she moved up for the last quarter into the goals and shot fourth, so good job for her there. But it'd be very interesting for Darley to see how they go against some tough competition next week with Melton. So.
Yeah, it would indeed. We'll touch on that later on in the show. East Point taking on North Ballarat City at the Eastern Oval last week. In a game where not too many people gave East Point some hope, including us, given that they had 5 first liners out. There's only 4 goals in this game at half-time. North were leading 22-18, but North City put the afterburners on a little bit in the second half to win it 41-28. Gina McCartan, 23 goals, and Emma Roos back into the side this week, shooting 18 goals for North City with their better players, Whitty, Stacey McCartan and Emma Church. East Point, Marcel Geljon, 13 goals, McKenna, 13 as well, and Monica Van Dyke, 2 goals, with the better players being Geljon, Van Dyke and Merrin Rogan. This is actually a really good performance by East Point because they had 5 players out, they had all of their first choice shooters out, and they still got within 13 goals of North City, who admittedly did have a couple out themselves. Sarah Milton didn't play, Tani Nestor didn't play, who was our Stockholm Legendary Player of the Week last week, so a couple of pretty big outs there, but look, still some credit to East Point here.
Yeah, no, exactly. North are top of the ladder at the moment, so obviously one of the strongest sides in the competition, them and Sudbury, would be the top 2. So to come within 13 goals with 5 of your key players out, fantastic, and that sort of just being in there at half-time. So obviously a bit of a disappointing second half for East Point, but all credit to North Ballarat City and another strong performance. They're, as I said, top of the table with 3 wins now, so. And the bye, obviously, so they're going very well and looking to have a very good season.
But also, as we said, North Ballarat City having those players out. And Emma Roos playing in goals, playing her first game for the season as well. So a little bit rusty to start it off, but good to see North getting the win. As you mentioned at the top of the show, a huge game, the Melton Derby this week between Melton South and Melton. High-scoring affair, probably the highest-scoring game of the season. And it was Melton winning at 66-63. They trailed by 6 at quarter-time. They led by 3 at half-time in the turnaround that changed the game. Mel McCauley, 60 goals for Melton on the weekend. Gleeson and Bartlett, 3 each. A huge performance by Mel McCauley in that one. Andrea Ty, 33, and Maria Tahi, 30 for Melton South as well. Macaulay, Kelmar and Hills, the best players for Melton. Robertson, Nicello and Ty for Melton South. I'm not sure how to read this one, whether obviously Melton South have been fantastic this year. They're starting to get to the stage, though, where they need to turn honourable losses into wins. They've got some good results against good teams, but they need to start winning. On the other side of the coin, Melton, a fantastic effort, 66 goals during the game. Mel McCauley, 60. But does that show that if you shut Mel McCauley down a little bit, that Melton can be got? It's an interesting result to me.
Yeah, firstly with Melton South, obviously they've had a few losses there, but have had a very tough run. They've had Redan, Sunbury and Melton in the first 4 rounds, so some very strong teams
but
there.
If they want to play finals this year and they want to go somewhere, they're the kind of teams they've got to beat.
Exactly, so. But obviously getting very close to Melton's a fantastic effort. And yeah, Mel McCauley, 60 goals. She had a 22-goal quarter, I think it was in the second quarter, so it's just absolutely phenomenal to have 22 goals in a game's a good effort, let alone 22 goals in a quarter. So I think she'll be one of the girls that's spewing that the goal shooting awards are being taken out for this year. So
well, she won it last year, and she's obviously she's one of those players that's almost automatic when she gets the ball in the ring anyway. You just about know it's going in. So great job by Mel, and in the end, look, great job by Melton. They got the 4 points. They stay in the top 6. They're doing it okay up at Melton, just scraping through nicely at the moment. Very interesting game at Sunbury on the weekend. Sunbury taking on Redan. 2 undefeated sides going in, 1 undefeated side coming out, which is Sunbury winning 35-28. Sophie Gunn, 18 goals. Ruth Smith, 17 for Sunbury. Emma Henry, 15, and Grace Jens, 13 goals for Redan. Better players for Sunbury: Smith, Lauren Close, and Beck Moffat. And for Redan, Emma Henry, Narelle Perkins, and Holly Frew. Physical game. Physical game. Grace Jens broken nose in the first quarter, kept playing.
As all of the sort of top of the table clashes are expected to be very physical, they're obviously all got a lot of passion and going at the ball very hard, so you do expect a bit of that, but a broken nose is obviously a bit unexpected.
It is.
Especially in the netball schemes of things, but it happens.
Talking to Kate McMahon during the week, she actually didn't mind this result. She had a couple of players out. Cass Hobbs and Ruby Parry were out. Having said that, you look at the other side of the coin, Beck Anstey didn't play for Sunbury on the weekend, which is a huge loss. Premiership captain and best on court in the grand final. Sunbury had another debutant on the weekend, Lauren Close, who's picked in the Vic Fury squad as well in the ANL, so she's a fantastic player and made a bit of difference defensively on the weekend as well. So Sunbury will be hoping that Lauren can stick around for a few more games throughout the season.
Yeah, no, definitely. Obviously a good good game there, so hopefully she can stick around and do some fantastic performances going forward. But I actually tipped Redan for this one, and I think it was their first quarter let them down. They were a bit inaccurate. They 5 from 12 shots, which obviously you need to get them in when you're playing the top side. So they were down at their first change and obviously couldn't get back up to get the lead. But good credit to Redan. But yeah, Sunbury obviously proven they're the team to beat this year, and they're definitely coming out as early premiership favourites.
They are indeed. Some interesting rumours floating around the Clark Oval on Saturday morning. Got a call from a couple of people just wondering if the former Melbourne Vixens star shooter was going to turn up and play in the maroon and gold on the weekend, but of course didn't happen. Cheryl McMahon was the rumour that she was going to play for Redan on the weekend and sent frighteners around a few, but in the end it didn't happen. Why would Redan throw that publicity away for an away game, really?
Yeah, no, exactly. This is the first I've heard of that, but that would have been a very big in for Redan. It would have been interesting to see what would have happened if she was there.
Yeah, it was never going to happen, so interesting one though. But going forward to the last game of the round, and this was a statement, 71-29, Sebastopol defeating Bacchus Marsh. Huge win by Sebastopol. They looked very, very good throughout the game as well. Georgia Can, 29 goals for the Burrows. Erin Atherton, 25. And Amy Neville, 17 goals in her 50th game on the weekend. Susie Delmo, 20 goals as well, 12 goals, for Bacchus Marsh. Powell, 11. Linda Powell, Govan and Drevensek, 4 and 2. Better players for Sebastopol: Atherton, Neville and Libby Denuden. And for Bacchus Marsh, Taylor Drevensek, Linda Powell and Jacinta Reid, who was strong again through centre court. But strength of this game can be shown by the fact that in the third quarter, Sebastopol took off Georgia Can, their coach, came off the court. Caitlin Ashmore came off the court, their starting wing defence. And Rhiannon Banner, one of our favourites, of course, defensively, came off the court. And they outscored them 20 goals to 10, sorry. Just shows how strong Sebas is at the moment. They've won 2 in a row now. Things are starting to come together for the Borough.
Speaking of that third quarter where all of the 3 players actually went off, that was Sebas's highest scoring quarter. So obviously got a lot of depth there, which is fantastic to see for Sebastopol. But
the highest scoring team in the league so far this season, would you believe?
So obviously very attacking, which is very good to see. So well done to Sebas on the win there. And from all reports, Shawnee, Erin Atherton was fantastic. You were down at the game.
She was indeed, not just good, sort of fantastic. Stockland Wendouree Player of the Week style fantastic. She was great, Erin Atherton. Watching it firsthand, she was almost automatic in the goals, and she has won this week's Stockland Wendouree Player of the Week award for round 4. Congratulations to Erin Atherton from the Sebastopol Football Netball Club. Mel McCauley probably a bit stiff, but I suppose seeing Erin in action firsthand swayed me a little bit there because she was fantastic.
Yeah, no, good to see. So well done to Erin on that one. Just also back to the game, Bacchus Marsh haven't had the best season so far. They are struggling, but they've got a tough run as well for the next couple of weeks, but I think that's going to be a very interesting game. The Bacchus Marsh and Ballarat, I think that's going to be one that's going to be hard to tip, and that's in a few weeks down the track. So, but Bacchus Marsh got a tough run, but it'll be good to see them hopefully get their first win on the board sometime soon. They're
also doing the right things by their youngsters, though. Alicia Burgess played a grade on the weekend in defence, and she was really good. Taylor Drevensek switched between defence and attack throughout the game, and also very, very good. So 12 to 18 months' time, Bacchus-Marsh are going to be okay. They're where Sebastopol were last year.
Yep.
They've got these players coming through, developing, and if they can land a fish or two like Sebastopol did this off-season, they'll be all right next year. Don't worry about that. Speaking of fish that Sebastopol landed during the off-season, Matty, very interesting, of course, one of our favourites. We love her. We work with her, Rhiannon Banner, who seems to bristle every time she gets a bit of a mention on the netball show. She doesn't like it all that much. So she also said she's never seen herself play netball before. So I thought to myself, here's an idea for a segment on the netball show. It's called Banner Cam. We've put a camera on Rhiannon. You're going to see it up on the screen. We're going to have a look at it on the iPad at the same time as well, just so we can fill you in on what's going on here. Let's have a look at Banner Cam now as we see Rhiannon warming up. Really probably not the correct Sebast netball attire there, Banner, but come along okay. What do you reckon? Nice little pirouette there at the end, Matty.
Yeah, no, very good little pirouette there, but good to see she's warming up well.
She is indeed. Now we've got a bit of action seeing Banner in action. She said she wanted to see the netball action of herself, so standing off there just decides, well, I'll get the ball. No, I'll let someone else get it. Don't worry about that. Some more Banner defending. Really not getting anywhere near it then, and then when she does, she decides, no, not a good position. I'll just jump up and down for a bit and then give away a penalty for contact. So well done, Banner. Just stand and watch that ball go in. Here she is again, gets it, uncorks the pass to who? Absolutely no one. Out of bounds. Just a terrible pass, and she looks up and the gig's up because she sees us filming, so had to wait until the last quarter now, and we thought we'd get a little bit more Banner, just see how she goes. A bit lackadaisical in the drive up court there. Hang on, here's the turnover, so she's got to get on her bike, go back and do some defensive work. What can we do here? Banner, as she comes forward and goes for a leap and absolutely misses everything except for Taylor Drevensek's hand, unfortunately. So there's Banner giving away a penalty, which all of a sudden she has to make double time to run in, and there's her opponent that's got the ball, having a shot. Missed it, so Rhiannon doesn't get the rebound. Her opponent does again. She's not even going to defend. She's just going to play huggy under the basket with Susie Delmo. Banner, that's Banner Cam for a week. I don't know if I'm all that impressed with her on-court form. What do you think, Matty?
We're going off them highlights. I don't know how she's been getting the best the last couple of weeks, to be honest. But obviously she must have done some good things in the game as well. But from reports there, that's the first I've seen of Banner play, so I might have to get down.
Probably the last?
Yeah, probably going to be the last, I reckon.
Good work, Rhiannon Banner from the Sebastopol Netball Club. And Interleague next week, of course. We know that we're probably jumping ahead of ourselves. Got a game this week, but we did go down to Interleague training to have a look on Monday night, and we caught up with one of the members of the Interleague squad, which we're going to officially announce after this interview, because we just had the interviewee on tenterhooks a little bit as to whether she was going to make the squad. We caught up with Lauren Atkinson from East Point at Interleague training on Monday night up at Ballarat Grammar. Here's what Lauren had to say. So we're here today on the BFNL Netball Show with Lauren Atkinson from East Point after Interleague training. Lauren, thanks for joining us on the Footy Show.
No worries, Shaun.
Tell us about how Interleague training's been going at the moment.
Yeah, it's been really good. This is the second training we've had.
Yep.
And yeah, it's been high intensity and pretty tough. Playing with all the girls that we obviously play against on a Saturday, and then coming together and working to get one goal to make the Interleague team.
Yep. It's been an interesting dynamic because a lot of the girls have played together already this year in the RSL team. You didn't.
Yep.
How have you found coming in and kind of, at the risk of labelling you an outsider, how have you found coming into the group?
No, it's been really good. Everyone's been really welcoming. And,
Yep.
I've played with most of the girls before, so
Exactly.
that also helps as well. But yeah, they've done really well in the RSL, so it'd be pretty hard to break into the team, I think.
How have you found Kate's coaching techniques throughout the training?
Yeah, it's been really good. She's really high intensity, which is good, motivating, and yeah, learning some stuff from Kate, so that's good as well.
And played a few kind of scratch matches and everything like that, especially tonight at training, which we've got some footage of at the moment. The intensity was right up there with those. It's probably some of the best netball I've seen.
Yeah, it was really good. There's lots of good players here, so yeah, the intensity is good, and obviously we all want to get a spot in the team, so that helps as well.
14 people at training, 10 people in the squad. If you're lucky enough to make it, how do you feel about going into the game against Golden Valley?
Yeah, I'm really excited. Like, if I made it, hopefully I can make the team. Don't know much about the Golden Valley, but I think they're a pretty strong team, so
Yep.
yeah, it'll be good, really good to go down to Shepparton and represent the BFL.
Well, best of luck with the decisions being made. By the time this is shown, everybody else will know whether you've made the side or not. We don't at the moment.
Yeah.
But best of luck with that, Lauren. And
Great.
if you do make it, best of luck. If not, best of luck with East Point for the rest of the season.
No worries. Thank you, Shaun.
Lauren Atkinson from the East Point Netball Club joining us on the Netball Show. Lauren Atkinson from East Point at Interleague training. Now we can find out if Lauren actually made the Interleague squad or not, because we have it here in our hot little hands, the 2014 BFNL Open and 17 and under Interleague squads. The Open team to be coached, of course, by Kate McMahon, her assistant coach Melanie Allen. Congratulations to the captain of the Open squad for the BFNL this year, basketball coach Georgia Can, named as captain. Congratulations, Georgia. Rest of the squad up on the screen now: Erin Riley and Amy Elliott from Redan, Molly Boyle and Cara Hart from the Lakers, Stacey and Gina McCartan from North City, along with their teammate Sarah Milton. Lauren Atkinson made the team, so you can stop worrying, Loz, you're in there, as well as our SC Technology Player of the Month for April, Emma Ryan from East Point as well. So pretty strong looking squad there, Maddie, and you can tell the strength of a squad sometimes by the people who missed out on it. Names such as Emma Henry, Ruby Parry, Cass Peace, Katie Williams unfortunately didn't make the squad, and there's some pretty big names to miss out.
Yeah, no, when you look at the initial squad there, it was such a fantastic pool of netballers to choose from. So I don't think many people were jealous of Kate McMahon's job there of having to select the squad, but she's done a fantastic job. That's obviously a very, very strong side, and they're hopefully going to come home with a win next weekend. But it's no surprises there with Georgia Can as captain. I don't think she's an outstanding leader, and that's proven. But it's many players there from the winning RSL side, so they'll go into this with a fair bit of confidence.
It's a good squad because it's got some good versatility. You've got players like Erin Riley and Emma Ryan that can play at both ends of the court. You can go tall, you can go small. Obviously, not knowing the Golden Valley lineup makes it a bit difficult to try and plan. So, tall defenders in Sarah Milton and Amy Elliott in the squad. Obviously, Emma Ryan, who's that little bit shorter but is very good in the air as well. Georgia Can in shooting as well. You'll probably find that Emma Ryan will probably actually start shooting in this game along with Gina McCartan. So there's kind of that three-pronged rotation through the goal ring there as well. Some really strong mid-quarters, of course. Stacey McCartan, Cara Hart and Molly Boyle, who have played a lot of netball together at Lakers, and Lauren Atkinson as well through the centre court. So really strong side. Let's have a look at the 17 and under side as well, because we've got that. We haven't forgotten the 17 and unders, coached, of course, by Bacchus Marsh's Frank Pavlovich, assistant coach Sherry Collins from Redan. And the squad that's at 12 at the moment, it'll be trimmed to 10 before the game, Maddie. Don't forget that. Yep. Jess Brumby and Meg Collins from Redan, Emily Bettio from Bacchus Marsh, Olivia Lawson, Zoe Nevitt, Eleni Hooper and Megan Osmond from North Ballarat, Sophie Antonello, Caitlin Bewley and Sarah Keith from Darley, Meg Gleeson from Melton and Holly Medwell from East Ballarat. Congratulations to those 12 girls. Of course, that squad will be trimmed down before the Interleague next week, so we'll find out next Thursday night exactly who's going to be the 10 that will take to the court for the 17 under game against the Goulburn Valley Football Netball League. Again, a very strong squad, and again, a lot of players that represented the league in the RSL earlier this year, Matty.
Yeah, there's a lot of future stars there. You go through the list, and they're outstanding in the 17 under competition just in our league, and they're definitely going to go well this season, I think, during the league, and then to make an interleague selection for the 17 unders is an outstanding effort. And as you said, most of the girls in there are from the RSL team, so they will have played together and will hopefully gel together well on the court. But look, I think it's a fantastic squad, and they're going to do some great things.
A couple of players that we've interviewed throughout the year too: Olivia Lawson, who you interviewed earlier in the year, and Caitlin Bewley from Darley, who I interviewed just last week for the BFNL Junior Footy Show as well, the IONET BFNL Junior Footy Show. Get around that if you haven't already. There's bits of netball in there, don't worry, we look after it. But good to see some familiar faces in that squad as we turn our attention to this week's round 5 fixtures in the BFNL. And we're going to start with the game between Ballarat and Redan at Alfredton this week, which will be another good learning experience for the young Ballarat side, Matty.
Yeah, Redan will be looking to bounce back after their first loss of the season, and up at Ballarat I think they're going to do some fantastic things and bounce back pretty well. Ballarat being the young and up-and-coming side that they are, they're going to struggle a bit against the experienced Redan side, and I think that Redan will get the win in this one quite comfortably.
Cass Peace and Ruby Parry set to come back into the Redan side this week. Injury clouds over Grace Jens, as we mentioned earlier, with the broken nose suffered last week, and Narelle Perkins with an ankle injury late in the game as well. But regardless, I think Redan should be too strong in this one. Bacchus Marsh taking on Sunbury at Mattingley Park, and unfortunately might be another little bit of one-sided traffic going on here, with absolutely no disrespect to Bacchus Marsh at all.
Yeah, I think Sunbury are going to be not very strong, but too strong for Bacchus Marsh in this one. Obviously, them not having lost a game and Bacchus Marsh to win on the board, but you never know. Bacchus Marsh may come in with nothing to lose and just throw everything at them, and if Sunbury are a little bit off their game, then Bacchus Marsh could come out and get close to them. But I think Sunbury will have a strong win in this one, and it will be a bit one-sided, as you said, I think, to Sunbury.
Prue Stanley back in the Sunbury side last week, back through the mid-court. Very, very strong win this will be by Sunbury. Lake Wendouree versus Melton South at the Wendouree Reserve. This is almost match of the round for mine, because this is one where you've got Melton South against a team that they probably would fancy themselves against, but they've got to get the win. They can't just get close against these teams now, because you're finding that teams like Sebastopol, like Darley, are starting to get a little bit of ground on them as well on the ladder. They can't give up too much ground. They've got to start converting these kind of honourable losses into wins. Tough ask against a strong Lake Wendouree side this week, though.
Yeah, I think this has to be the turning point for Melton South. This is pretty much the round where they have to get that win on the board, just so they can give themselves a bit of confidence and show the competition that they are a very strong side this year. So it's obviously a tough ask against Lake Wendouree. They're a fantastic side and currently sitting third on the ladder. But I think I am going to tip with Melton South this one. They're just going to be very hungry for that second win. It's been a long time since wins. It was the first round they got that win on the board over Ballarat. So I think I'm going to go with Melton South in a very, very tight one over Lake Wendouree.
Other side of the coin, Lakers fresh and ready to go after a bye last week. Kat Biscan and Candice Page doing a fantastic job in the ring this year in goals, and of course Molly Boyle, Cara Hart in defence as well, with Emma Burton, Jackie Clifton back there, and now Katie Williams with a point to prove to a few people in centre court as well. I just think the Lakers are going to be a little bit too strong. Moving along, North Ballarat City taking on Sebastopol. This is going to be a very, very interesting clash, Matty, because Sebastopol fancy themselves in this one. There's no doubt about it. However, North City, as we know, very strong side.
Yeah, well, Sebast coming off a couple of wins will give them a lot of confidence coming into this game. North, I think, will be coming to the game thinking that they have got Sebast covered, and looking at paper, they probably should have going off the season so far, but Sebast are really going to bring it to them. But I think North are going to be just a little bit too strong all over the court in the end, and it should come away, I'm going to tip by about 11 goals.
I reckon it'll be inside 10 myself. I reckon this will be a really close game, a lot closer than a lot of people give it credit for. I'm tipping North City to win. And Sebastopol again, until they take one of those big scalps, I just can't get on them in these kind of games. I know it's not far away because I've seen it with my own eyes how good they are, but until that actually happens, I can't get on them just yet. So it's North Ballarat City for mine. In this one, the last game of the weekend, Melton versus Darley. Melton to start, pretty warm favourites at home.
Yeah, I think Melton will go very, very well in this one. Melton are a very strong side, and Darley, they've got a couple of wins on the board, but the two wins haven't been against the strongest sides in the competition, whereas Melton have played some fantastic netball, and obviously the win against Melton South just last week proves that they are a very strong side, and I think they'll get the bickies over Darley, so I think that Melton will win this one pretty comfortably.
Melton for mine as well. Unfortunately, Darley just haven't got the height in defence at the moment to really try and combat somebody like a Melissa McCauley. They wouldn't be able to double off her and everything like that to be able to cause those defensive matchups, because Mel will still be able to reach over the top and grab the ball. So Melton for mine. East Point with the bye this weekend as well, ahead of Interleague next week. And that does us for another week, Matty. We're going to come back with a huge show next week because it's going to be all about Interleague. Well, apart from the results from this week, of course, which it'll be all about Interleague. Kate McMahon's coming on next week. She doesn't know that yet. Well, now she does know it because we've just told her via the Netball Show. We're going to have a very Interleague themed show next week as we come to you again on the BFNL Netball Show. We thank you for joining us this week. We'll see you again soon.